hopefully that stays. I have my phone in a precarious position in my little cheap little selfie stand, but the case does not quite work well in. Happy Friday, happy new moon in Taurus. My original thought was I usually like to do the community readings on Wednesdays under the auspiciousness of Mercury, but I ended up contracting my boyfriend's sinus infection, and my body was like, whoa, it's time to just rest and don't worry about it. And luckily I'm feeling better enough. I was able to go out with some friends last night, and feeling still tired today, but we have this new moon energy. So I'm kind of doing this new moon reading in conjunction, pun intended, for the community reading for Taurus, new moon in Taurus. Pun is that the sun and moon are in conjunction, and that's why it's a new moon. Every month, the moon travels through all 12 signs of the zodiac, and when the new moon is new, it is in the same sign as the sun, and when it is full, it is the opposite sign of the sun. Last month, we had 2 new moons in Aries. We also had a solar eclipse, a lunar eclipse with the full moon in Scorpio. So there was a lot of really intense energy happening the last couple months. And then with that full moon in Scorpio, we also had the World Health Organization announcing the end of the COVID-19 emergency, which however much merit or faith or stock you want to put in that announcement, because who knows what that truly means anyway, still a huge sign and shift of releasing like yucky, stagnant energies, and it's like time to move forward and heal. So really love that timing of things. Today we have the new moon in Taurus, just after the planet Jupiter has entered the sign of Taurus as well. And so Jupiter is a planet of expansion and philosophy, bring about prosperity and good luck. And Taurus is all about like sensual pleasures and our home, our resources, our physical objects and such. So with this new moon, the new moon is all about planting seeds for the energy to grow until the new moon, and then we go and release whatever is getting in the way of moving forward. And so this new moon in Taurus, it's about figuring out where we can plant seeds to create prosperity in our lives, where we can become a little more in harmony. It's also occurring on Friday, which is the day that is ruled by Venus, that Taurus is ruled by. So this is just like a really beautiful day of really beautiful energy, soft energy, harmonizing energy, gentle energy, healing, growing, and just like kind of like, whew, like we've done some tough work. Let's enjoy ourselves, because Taurus, again, is all about sensuality, and Jupiter loves to party. So it's about really enjoying ourselves, the finer things in life, that human experience, right? And with that, we also have Uranus is also in Taurus. Why is it Jupiter? Oh, there we go. Uranus is also in Taurus, so there's like this sense of we're like changing things up in our physical world as we shake things up to kind of like air the cobwebs out, right? Like that idea of like spring cleaning. So Uranus being in Taurus is kind of helping facilitate that feeling right now. It's going to be here for about another year and a half, or I can't remember the timeline. I don't have it written down, so you'll have to forgive me. I don't. But then we also have Mercury in Taurus. So we have really, and I'm looking at my star map because I was like, let me make sure I know what I'm talking about here. Jupiter, so we have the north node of the moon is in Taurus right now, where it's going to be for a while. And so this is about like, the North Node is all about our Dharma, what we're here to fulfill. And with the North Node here in Taurus, we are working to improve our home life, our surroundings. We have Jupiter conjunct the North Node right now to help facilitate that change in a really good, stable way. And then Mercury is also conjunct the North Node, helping us facilitate communication, the communication is helping us facilitate these changes so we can communicate in a good and clear way. So that we make sure that everybody's needs are being met in a way that suits everybody as best as we can, right? Because you can't make everybody happy all the time. You will drive yourself crazy if you try to do so. But then we have Mars trining. I thought this was really awesome. Mars is sextile the moon and the sun. Mars is the planet of action in Cancer, so there's this really, Mars doesn't really like being in Cancer, right? It's not very at home. It wants to take action. Cancer is very like watery sign, but the support here is we can take action that is true to our heart and our soul, that will help facilitate our physical surroundings, coming into congruency with what is true for us in this moment, our home life, how we can support good positive change and healing. So there's a lot of really beautiful energy today. And then on top of that, the sun and the moon are also trining Pluto in Aquarius. And Pluto's in retrograde, about to go back into Capricorn. But right now, Pluto's all about transformation, like cracking open ideals and figuring out, really it's rebirth and regeneration. So with this new moon energy trining Pluto as it's in retrograde, there's this real sense of like, yes, we want to plant these seeds as long as it's facilitating for the higher good, and giving us the courage to take the steps to make these changes that are seeming really scary. I know I'm resonating with that right now, right? When we are afraid to take action, it is because it is something new, and neurologically our brains want to keep us safe, and doing something new won't always be safe. So it can be really hard to break old habits, patterns, and thoughts, because that's the status quo. It's what's kept us safe for so long. Why do we want to risk changing that? And so with Pluto in retrograde coming back into Capricorn, willing to put in the hard work to create this change, facilitated by the new moon energy, we can really make some huge changes in our life that will help us create more bounty and joy, because now we have Jupiter in Taurus for the next year. So there's going to be this whole, it's really interesting, the last 2 weeks, I'm getting all these emails from other coaches and whatnot about now's the time to create abundance in your life. I'm like, oh, no wonder, because Jupiter is moving into Taurus, facilitating the growth of abundance. So this next year is a really great opportunity to kind of get clear on what it is we want for ourselves and the steps that we can take to grow that for ourselves in a really big and beautiful way, to support us as we move through life. So a lot of really great energy happening today. And so I have my tarot cards laid out for the lessons of the new moon. I have the archetype cards from Caroline Miss. I like to use these to kind of look at, all right, what is it that what energy are we in that we maybe need some help supporting? And then the Ascended Masters card with Doreen Virtue, who can we call in for guidance to help facilitate going into the higher aspects of the archetype that we're currently working with? And when I pulled the cards, they're just such beautiful energy today, and it's being really beautifully represented by the cards that I have laid out today. So the archetype card that we are working with is the energy of the divine child. And I really love this because Well, first of all, in astrology, Taurus is considered the earth mother. Like Cancer is the water mother, but Taurus is the earth mother, right? Ruled by Venus, that love, that sensuality, that compassion, creating resources. And so the Ascended Masters card I pulled is the wife mother card, Lady Nada, who I've never heard of her. And she is an Ascended Master who works with Saint Germain and Archangel Michael, who we pulled in last week's reading, to bring about the balance of female and male energies in the world. Her name signifies the beautiful sound of the void of silence. Sitting in silence is something we don't often do these days with all of our technology and our radios and TVs and tablets and pads and screens. The ability to sit in silence and peace is something that is quite often missing in our lives, and it serves as a distraction to keep us from going within. So creating that practice of maintaining silence and the ability to go within is so healing, but it takes practice. And you can call upon Lady Nada to help you find peace with both females and males in your life, and to harmonize and balance the masculine and feminine energies within yourself. And she is here to support any issues you might have with any significant women in your life, and to help you call upon your God, your guides, and angels to release any toxins associated with past or present female relationships. Again, Taurus energy. So Lady Nada is here to help facilitate that healing and opens the way for healthy relationships with women, including your own feminine energy, which, you know, women coming together is so powerful, and sometimes, you know, we don't have a lot of good practice with that because of the patriarchal society that most of us exist in. And so facilitating that energy to heal within, because when we heal our feminine energy, we're also helping facilitate that inner child. And here we have the divine child, the light attributes of innocence, purity, and redemption, suggesting a special connection to the divine, which, you know, depending on your how you choose to view spirituality, we are divine beings, and we can get in tune with divinity by getting in tune with ourselves, being able to go within. So we have wonderful energy supporting this under the new moon today. Because the shadow attribute of this, an inability to defend oneself against negative forces. Sometimes we need help. And who better to help than a mother in the new sign of Taurus. And so the cards I've pulled, the solid foundation you've been working so hard to build. We have the Seven of Wands. I'm using my Philly Tarot deck again. The Wands is represented by the paper clip, which is a sculpture in Center City by City Hall. When you walk out of SEPTA, it's standing right there, and all the people are SEPTA workers in the Wands cards. Excuse me. My voice is a little froggy. And so the Seven of Wands is about kind of like beating down people who are trying to keep you from moving forward. So the solid foundation we've been working to build is to be able to stand strong in our own power, which is very much represented, right? Like the shadow attribute, the inability to defend oneself. But here we've been working really hard to be able to defend ourselves, and calling upon Lady Nada this coming week can help us really deepen that ability to stand strong and firm, which again, Taurus is also about strength, right? It requires strength to build, to grow. It requires that energy from the seed to burst out of its shell and then through the ground to reach the sun above. The energy supporting or affecting this foundation, well, we have the Queen of Cups. So happy when I was seeing these cards. Just, you know, it's like, oh, it's good. The energy is good. The Queen of Cups is being represented by, I don't recognize this lady, so I'm going to look her up. I should have done this beforehand. This is not in order, so the way they printed it. Marian Anderson, insightful and dreamy. An honest and devoted queen with natural instinctive abilities, the talented singer Marian Anderson represents the arts and beauty. So perfect for Taurus. But she is a fighter too. She broke barriers of racial prejudice in the U.S. She will help you have vision and virtue. So really powerful. That Queen of Cups, again, that like earthy, that, well, water, but it's that mother kind of energy, helping to facilitate getting in tune with our own needs. Like I did this week, I waited for today to do the reading instead of like fighting through my tiredness to show up. I just decided to do it today. And then we have the 10 of Wands. You know, he's carrying a heavy load. So there's been a lot of work, but maybe it's time to rest and just to kind of let things work out for themselves. Because if, you know, sometimes when we work too hard and there's not enough support, the bow will break, right? And then how to break out of your comfort zone, super important. We have the moon. I always love when the moon card shows up for a moon reading. And here we have City Hall represented in the moon card. And the moon represents our subconscious thoughts, beliefs, and fears. It represents our ability for intuition. And so the ability to break out of our comfort zone, going deep within, and I talked a little bit before about tuning into like that comfort zone, right? And in order to get out of that comfort zone, we have to bring awareness to it. Really letting go of the fear of diving into our subconscious thoughts and beliefs that are getting in the way of progress. And really taking the time, as we talked about Lady Nada, to get quiet and to be still, to go within and confront those comfort zones. You know, we're so often taught to repress our emotional states. And the scariest thing we can do is to just sit in those emotional states, because the more we ignore them, the more of a problem it becomes. That which we ignore is what controls us. So if we can get quiet, and if we can sit in silence and allow ourselves to feel what it is we're feeling. We have to acknowledge our feelings. We have to accept them for what they are. Really feel them. And then we can let them go. Say adios. It's so important to honor these emotional states. They exist for a reason. That is part of our human experience. And to deny that, it's to deny our human experience. So when we can allow ourselves to feel, we can release those feelings. Now the key is to not be reactionary to those emotions. We often want to react to them, and this is where problems can come in, and this is where the evolution of self-work is helpful, because you can still feel these feelings and not react to them. And that takes work, because sometimes you have to react to them, but reacting to them in a way that is healthy and from a place of maturity, so that you are not throwing your emotional shit at people like monkeys in the apes. Monkeys in the jungle, right? We are evolved, we are humans. Feel your feelings, but don't throw them at other people. And that is how we break out of our comfort zone, by really acknowledging what it is we're feeling and reacting in a way that's mature and speaking from a place of truth and love and acceptance for ourselves and others. Because when we work to heal ourselves, it gives permission for those around us to also heal. And so where do we look for additional support? Well, we have the Ace of Cups, and it's so funny they use cheesesteaks to represent cups in these cards. The Ace of Cups is all about new emotional beginnings, right? So where can we look for new, and then we have the Divine Child, right? We're starting from scratch. It's about, once we release those feelings that we've been holding on to, we can start fresh. We can start new. We can have a new lease on life. And then as the new emotions come up, we're not viewing them through the filter of those clogged emotions. we're free and clear to actually get in tune with the emotions that we have in this moment and deal with them in that healthy, mature way. But until you let go of those repressed energies, you're going to continually view these new emotions through those old lens of yucky emotions that we're not allowing ourselves to feel. So when we can clear those old, repressed, trapped emotions, each time we have a new experience, that we can view it through the fresh eyes like a child does in their life, because we've let go of the old wounding. And that is so powerful. But again, it takes practice, and it's a lifelong journey. You know, we have to remember to honor the fact that we're all on a journey. Hi Sherry, thanks for joining. We're all here on a journey, and honoring the fact that everybody's journey looks different, and not judging people for what their journey looks like, allows, also remembering to not judge ourselves, right? Judgment gets in the way of allowing people to truly and fully heal. So if we can let go of these judgments of ourselves and of others and make space for everybody to heal in the way that is best suited for them, so many magical things can happen. And this new moon in Taurus is a great time to really lean into, because even though like Taurus is about like earth and structure and pleasure, there's still an emotional aspect to it. There's that softness to it. And the ability to grow comes when we've truly healed. So if we can plant some seeds of healing, we can really grow and enjoy the abundant energy that Jupiter and Taurus is going to be bringing us for the next year. So that is this week's reading so far. So if you missed the beginning, you can go back and rewatch it. Lots of good, juicy energy here today. Just giving ourselves the space to do what we need to when it's appropriate for us. And so I will generally, I don't know if you're still there, pull a card for you during the community readings. I like to pull cards for anybody that's around that wants one. If you're still there. And so this card is to help facilitate what it is you are coming up for you. Ooh, we have the Queen of Pentacles. Awesome. So the Queen of Pentacles, what a great card for the new moon. And this definitely, I can just knowing you, this is like such a good card for you right now. The Queen of Pentacles is all about building that home, and you are so good at that. You've always had such a beautiful home, and so this energy is helping you to maybe make some improvements that you've been thinking about, and you're not sure if you want to pull the trigger. Now's the time to do it. And who's listed on the Queen of, oops, wrong book. The person that's on the Queen of Pentacles is Patti LaBelle. Magnificence, domesticity, and soulfulness. The enchanting mainline godmother of soul can see and sing through to the heart of things. She excels in domestic life, and by surrounding herself with family and strong creative unions. Embrace these aspects of yourself, and Lady Marmalade will not lead you astray. So very fun. I always love that they use all these Philly people on these tarot cards. So yeah, there's the Queen of Pentacles. Again, that earthy, rich energy, creating and growing more prosperity for yourself. Lean into what it is you want to do. And then I will pull one more card for whoever comes across this later. What is the energy that you are working on this week or can help facilitate you? Oh, we have the Tower. So whoever ends up watching this later, it might be time to surrender. You might be fighting some changes in your life. You're welcome, Sherry. I'm glad you're here to join me. Again, we're talking about beginning anew. We have this Ace of Cups. Sometimes we really have to surrender, let ourselves let go. to create change, and maybe you're like fighting the change. And you know, it's like, it could be really scary. It can be really scary to change because you don't know what's going to be on the other side of that. But if you can tune into the energy of Lady Nada, that earthly, motherly energy, and know that there is support for you in this life, as well as from your angels and guides, and being allowing yourself to open up and ask for that guidance, and it'll show up for you. Such a beautiful card also. So this is this week's energy focused around the new moon. I'm going to post this video to YouTube. Normally I would like try to do 2 readings, and I'm going to honor my own energy and just be content. I think that everything that I've talked about here today is the message I need to share, no matter where I'm showing up. So thank you to those of you who tuned in today. Thank you, Sherry, for sharing some of your lovely energy with us today, because I know anybody else watching might also be inspired by Miss Patti LaBelle and the Queen of Pentacles card today. So on that note, it is my intention that this message finds whoever needs to hear it most. I hope you all have a beautiful weekend. If anybody has any questions or would like some more support, I offer personal readings, or you can just send me a message. If you have any questions about anything, please feel free to do so. And I will see you all next week. Namaste.